Hey, good morning. Good, good.
All right, all right.
My first car was a 1965 VW Bug, and I rebuild cars, so I bought this 73 thing that was in a fire, and I'm going to restore it.
Obviously, it's turned into a great camping variety show, if you will. We had well over 200 campers this year. We had well over 400 cars here this year. You can camp, you can come hang out and leave. You can just come out and walk around and buy parts, look at show cars. Yeah, it's a huge variety out here.
We just purchased a 71 Super Beetle for a project about 6 months ago, so we're just kind of getting into the Volkswagen theme. So
I had about a 1970 Volkswagen back in the 70s.
This is probably about the 5th year I've been here, coming every year. So check out the vibe, all the families and everything, the cars especially.
My wife's always wanted one, and her dad wouldn't let her have it. So here we are 25 years later, and she's got it. It's a single owner out of originally purchased in Fresno in 1970 as a 71. Converted to a Westie or ordered as a Westie. One family, and they had traveled cross country back and forth from Fresno to Florida. Ended up in Lodi. Actually bought it off of a friend of mine that I work with, and restored it from there as his father. It was his father's, and it passed away. I've got every record from every oil change to current. So I've got a complete file on the car from ground up.
And what's the attraction for you with this vehicle?
I think it's just instilled if you're younger and you get into Volkswagens, once a Volksy, always a Volksy. You either get attached to the brand or attached to the culture.
The '64 Volkswagen bus. I bought it about 25 years ago. It's pretty beat up when I first got it. It took a while to get it going, but it's finally been out for about the last 7 years. A lot of work, but it's worth it in the end.
Make some changes, so we're trying to keep some of it original?
Oh no, it's not original at all. It wasn't original when I got it. It was pretty much yard art, so everything I've done to it's pretty much custom. I've pretty much done everything to it. The only thing I didn't do was spray the paint. I did the interior, I did the body work, assembly, disassembly, chroming, all the parts, you know, and picking out the wheels, picking out the colors. Everything was all done by me, so pretty happy with it.
We have a vast majority of people in our club. We all just have the same love of Volkswagens. As I said before, it's the people's car, and everyone just everyone has a story. Every last person you talk to, whether it's riding in the back, behind the back seat in the back window when they were kids like myself, whether it's riding in the back of a bus, going camping and getting car sick, you know, everyone has a Volkswagen story, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, but it's always a good story.
Tim, tell me about the vehicle, the history, the story behind the vehicle.
Got all day? About 20 years ago, I was looking through the Vacaville Reporter and the want ads. That's how long ago it was. And I saw an ad for a Volkswagen bus for $1,500 at Westphalia. So I thought, I'm going to go check it out. So I went and looked at it, and it mechanically was sound, but it had rust in the dog legs and the doors, and so I really wasn't interested in it. And the gal was in the Air Force at the time, and she was selling it because she was going back to Minnesota. And so I said, I'm not interested, it's got too much rust. And she said, well, make me an offer. I go, I don't want to insult you. She goes, go ahead and insult me. I said, okay, $500. She said, sold. Now what do I do? So I drove it home. My wife was mad as hell at me. Now she'd be mad as hell at me if I sold it, but that's how I came across it. And then slowly I I grafted this in. I got the rack and the ladder and then there's little pieces in here that I put together, so it's pretty much 100% complete now at this point.
It was originally bought by a shop teacher in Santa Cruz, and he drove it until he retired, and then he sold it, and I became the second owner of the car. It's a 1966 VW, and as you see, it looks and drives like new.
So what do you like best about this car?
I just love the feeling, the smell, the sound, the fact that it's so simple. that I can actually work on it myself, and all the attention it gets.
Chicago had a very limited supply of new VWs, and so it made sense to see if there was one available in Bakersfield, and there were 3 on the lot. And black was one of the colors, and so we chose black. Then it was my parents' job to drive the car from Bakersfield to Chicago on old Route 66, which they did in September of 1958. And then I put all the rest of the miles on it after that.
One owner, you bought this brand new.
Brand new, 1966, going to college. And it still has the original City College parking permit sticker on it. I have the original pink slip, owner's manual, all the documentation. And it's a car that everybody has a memory. And you have the most wonderful memories with Volkswagens. So then I went to college, and a couple of years later, my husband and I got married, and he had a Volkswagen. So my father thought it should stay at their house, which actually was a blessing because it was garaged all those years. So that's why it's in pristine condition, original paint, almost everything on it is original. So it stayed there for all those years, and then when my husband retired in 2012, we took the car to kind of refurbish it, clean its original paint, polished everything. I spent a lot of hours shining chrome and doing all that kind of stuff. And then in 2015, we started showing it.
variety of customization. A guy came in today, had old hand saws on the back of his car he'd fashioned into a wing on it, and another guy came in and had 4 bumpers on his car, and you know, chop tops, lowered, channeled, any custom car reference you can make. There's a guy out here with that on his Volkswagen. Rat rod, resto mod, hot rod, you know, whatever you want to call it. Go fast parts, stock, bone stock, original vintage Meadows class we have here. It's amazing. We had a car here from Australia today. Obviously they didn't bring it over here for the car show, but it was brought in from Australia. You know, they drive on the other side of the road there, so they're, you know, look at the car and you go, wait a minute, the steering wheel's in the wrong place.
68 Carmen Ghia. It's got a 2276 turbocharged. It's an actual race car. It gets raced all the time. It was raced last weekend, as a matter of fact. We're racing E-Gas, which is an 1160 index. It's how fast, how close you can get to 1160 without going faster. The car will go faster than that, but we have to dial it back. So it's a nice car.
Reasons behind you chose this vehicle as opposed to maybe something else?
It just kind of snowballed. Originally, this was a shop car that was just going to be a beater, and it just kind of snowballed to what it is. It's, you know, so no special reason. I was racing a 67 Java Green Volkswagen a couple years ago. I've been slowly putting this car together probably for the last 10, 15 years. It was just time to put a motor into it and run it.
I'm just buying not long ago. I always want a single cab, and I find it like maybe a year and a half ago. The reason I want a single cab because it's lighter and I can put all the stuff, like we have the canopy, we get the chairs, we put the stuff, the barbecue. So that's one of the reasons I get a pickup truck.
So kind of like a camper, but you can do other things with it.
Yes. Also, I work in construction, and sometimes I use it to do side jobs too.
So what is it like to own something like this? You get a lot of people looking and asking about it?
Yeah, actually a lot of people, they're not very familiar with this truck, so they think I come better, I cut it, but that's the way it come out from the factory.
Pacific Islanders, so it says Islander Guam, so we're Pacific Islanders and from the island of Guam. So that's why I put that name on there.
Have you owned VWs before? I mean, what does the car mean to you? Something special?
Yeah, no, I just always wanted to get one, and I finally had an opportunity to get one, so that's where I purchased that. And then I added a couple of things to the vehicle, just the rims and the carpet kit inside, interior, and a couple of things to the motor, and that was pretty much it.
Well, I mean, I was surprised, and first time here, and it was a good time, so I really enjoyed it. Yeah, really happy for it.
Okay. A lot of work, but also a very unusual vehicle.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is. Weird right-hand drive Australian. Yeah.
This is awesome. This is the second show we've been in, and we've done well in both. So I'm very happy so far. So wait till the other car is completed, and we'll see what that one does.
I think it's absolutely phenomenal, and it's a lot of years of a lot of work, and it's just such a neat car that it tugs at my heart. I've had it since 1966. I'm the original owner.
It's been a lot of work, and it's really nice to be recognized.
You know, it's a lot of hard work, and it's an honor, you know.
So we put in years into this vehicle?
Yeah, you know, I do a lot of Volkswagen, so, you know, it's nice to feel appreciated by, you know, people checking out this hobby, you know, so it's great.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I mean, it humbles you, and you give the thanks for the fruit of your labors that you've been blessed with.
Feels great, you know, to be recognized for my peers. So, you know, it just shows that I did some good work on this car. So, but yeah, it feels great. I put a lot of time into this car. I thought it was deserving.
A lot of work you put in over the years, or?
Yes, I did within the last few days to get it here. From the last show, I blew a transmission, so I got it all from Kelly Park to here.
A lot of work in progress, and happy that, you know, other people appreciate it.
A lot of years you put in?
I've had it for about 9 months now.
(1974) VW Fling has been converted to right-hand drive. It's got full air ride, custom interior. I mean, everything basically.
Real great. It's, you know, love coming here, meeting all the people, seeing all the beautiful cars. It's really exciting when you win an award, stuff like that.
VWs are always just a blast to drive because you know everywhere you go, everyone stops and wants to talk to you because everyone has a VW story.
I call it a Volksrad. And that's what a lot of people call them. It's not a rat rod, it's not rusty, it's kind of the finished version of it.
It's a little fun and a little functional. I converted it into a camper, so it's a single seater right now. I can swap it back over to two whenever I want.
Today it means a little bit more. My dad, who got me into VWs, you know, when I was a really young kid, he had a bad stroke about almost a month ago, and he's not doing too well. And so I kind of dedicate this to him, thanking him for getting me into the Volkswagen scene.